Hi everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. So last time we finished off the side chapter, which was basically set in the hot springs. There you go. Fuck, I remembered. Where we had a fight against the giant fox demon kind of thing. And instead of moving on to the next main chapter of the story, we've now got a second side chapter for us to go through. I think it's the only time it happens in the game where we go through two side chapters back to back. But I think it is a cool way of doing it, because the last full chapter that we did was kind of the midway point of the original game, the end of the first third in the EX Plus version, and so you've got two side stories to see where everybody is. You know, we've seen where Ko and the rest of the gang are and what they have been up to. My apologies. So now we've got to see what's going on with White Shadow again. So it's the second time we've got to play as White Shadow. Fairly early on, actually, we play as White Shadow in I think it was the second chapter side story, and now we get to see kind of what he was doing and what his, you know, what the group he was affiliated with is doing. Kind of if Asuka and Ko and the rest of the group is one kind of side of it, then we've got this other side which we don't really know much about yet. And basically what the White Shroud is doing here is that he is picking up a signal from something to do with the Eclipse inside the school, and so he's coming in to investigate to find out what the fuck it is, because obviously he was saying that, you know, it's nothing to do with the my apologies. It's nothing to do with the fairy tale book, which was the reason for the giant eclipse in the last main chapter. Because, you know, we know that because he pretty much got it and destroyed it himself. So he knows that it's nothing to do with that. But it's kind of weird that something is piquing his interest again in the same place where this giant event happened, and he's been chasing a little kid, and this is someone that we saw much earlier on in the game that we don't really get an explanation for until, honestly, I don't think we get a explanation from him. I think it's either the final full chapter or it's the epilogue right at the end. I don't think we really get much info on him for now. My apologies. And so yeah, we got something a little bit different this time, because when we last used the White Shroud, when we last played as the White Shroud, he was just on his own. There was nobody else with him. So this time out, we can actually we can actually play as a couple of characters. We play as the White Shroud, but we also play as this other dude who we don't know who he is yet. This is just a man in battle suit. Catchy. We find out who he is, I think, I think it's the chapter after this one. Sorry, it's not the next main chapter, it's the main chapter after that. That's where we find out who this asshole is. But for now, we get to play as both of these. And the man in the battlesuit is actually kind of interesting, because he uses a gun rather than any kind of melee weapon, which is kind of an interesting distinction. So this is the Ruined Castle of Darkness. So yeah, see, he's got like a gun instead of like a melee weapon, which is kind of an interesting one. To be honest, I don't find it as fun to use as the White Shroud's giant sword, which I think is why I kind of stick with him for this one. First playthrough, this can be kind of tricky, this chapter, because of the White Shroud's gimmick, where pretty much his health is every time his health is constantly draining, I think, or is it? I guess not this time. But basically, there's a lot of big enemies in this one, in comparison to all the other kind of chapters and side chapters that we deal with. There's a lot more of the kind of the bigger enemies. So it's kind of a difficult one to deal with. I only got an A rank my first time through, which I guess is good. Sorry, an A rank, which is good. Oh my god. But, you know, I think the reason why I didn't get an S rank was because it took me a while to get through, and so I was penalised for the amount of time I took. In all fairness, actually, the White Shroud here, because in the first... Oh god, I'm frozen. Shit. Shit, I'm frozen. Shit. Use your items, buddy. But anyway, as I was saying, because in the original White Shroud chapter, side chapter that we played through much earlier in the game, his health was constantly draining. And so it became a thing of... like, constantly hitting everybody and constantly getting into the attack, because every time you hit an enemy, you recovered a small amount of health. In this section, this becomes a lot fucking easier, because of the fact that, you know, your health isn't draining, and so therefore you can... So your health isn't constantly draining, and every time you hit an enemy, you're recovering health. So it becomes a much easier kind of section. But of course, like, the problem is that you're significantly lower leveled at this point. I think you're like level 40, I think, at this point in the game. Normally, between level 30 and 40. So obviously, you know, being level 60 makes this a hell of a lot easier, and you can just kind of plow through it. But yeah, this is one of the harder side chapters, I would say. Just because of the sheer, you know, how many of these... my apologies. But just because of how many of these big enemies they kind of throw your way, and the amount of damage that they can do, especially when you're playing it for the first time. I mean, even here, I mean, I'm taking a fairly decent chunk of damage, even though I'm at level 60. So yeah, it's fucking tough. It can be hard. Fuck you. Which is, you know, but that's something I like about this character. You know, this idea of him, you know, encouraging you to just go hell for leather and be really aggressive. You know, because every time you hit something... Ow, you fucker. Because every time you hit an enemy, you recover health. I think that's a really cool kind of... Sorry. It's a really cool kind of a thing to keep you on your toes and keep you being aggressive. And not dodge rolling all over the fucking place. So... something I like about his character. He's also like one of the most fun to me to play, but I've always loved, you know, guys with, you know, I've always loved characters with broadswords in action RPGs. My apologies. I've always just preferred that, just because it's, you know, I guess just my preferred weapon of choice, as it were. Fuck you. Die. Shoot him in the face. Yeah, as you can see, my health is, even though I'm level 60, my health is draining pretty quick. So yeah. So when you're level, you know, when you're coming at this point in normal... My apologies. When you're coming at this, you know, at a relatively normal level, in a first playthrough, yeah, you can get fucked over pretty hard, and I do remember using a lot of I remember using a lot of health restoring items during this chapter. Yeah, look at my health. My health is really going down the shitter. These guys are a pain. There you go, kill him. My apologies. For fuck's sake. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there. Back to full health. Not for long. My apologies, my throat is just fucking shit today. And there we go. Nice and easy. And I should be able to... Yeah, this should be an S rank. And away we go. Nice and easy. S rank, baby. Time to move on. Alright. Time for the boss. I'm so sorry. Fuck my throat. Need to keep recording though. Anyway. Time for the boss. We fought this boss, or a very similar boss to this before. This is Dark Avalon. I think we fought an enemy similar to this when we were playing a side chapter as Asuka, when she was using her superpowered mode. This guy is kind of a tough boss. As you can see, like, I did cause him a good amount of damage there, and did hit him with a decently powered attack. And he didn't really take too much damage, even though I'm at level 60. What I will say about it... Oh yeah, his weapon's kind of cool, because it kind of turns into a battle axe, and then when he's using it as melee, and then a gun when he's firing at range, which is kind of cool. But anyway, you just have to... basically, the thing that he has is that he's just quick, he runs around quite a lot, has a stomp attack, and he causes a good amount of damage. So he's kind of tricky to deal with, he's kind of quick, has some of those things which are kind of homing, homing kind of shots. And so he's quick, can cause a good amount of damage, and he's a bit of a pain in the arse. But we beat him quite comfortably in the end. My god. The little kid's still there. What the fuck? Sorry. Why is your face obscured? So they try and chase him down, and... do they get him? Of course they fucking don't. We can't have that reveal yet. We've got to wait a bit longer for that. So, yeah. We still don't know what's going on with that kid. But, yeah. It's not really a spoiler to say that he's a major part of... That kid is a major part of the overall story of the game. And by the end of the game, we'll find out who he is. But not for a good long time. Yep, still don't know anything yet. So yeah, they've dealt with the Eclipse gate, and their mission is complete. That's all we need to know for now. So yeah, once again we find out, these two are kind of... White Shroud is kind of working with these guys, but we don't really know what the reason is, why he's working with them, what he's been asked to do. So we don't really know anything about the relationship between the White Shroud and this other group yet. Sorry. Yeah, so they kind of want Ko and the rest of the gang to actually be good. And yeah, so bad shit is starting to go down. Oh my god. We're gonna see his face. So yeah, who is it? Damn it, you're covering his eyes. Fuck you. So yeah, we'll find out who that is a bit later on. And by the way, it's a bit of a cheat that he changed his voice there, but whatever. That's it for this part. Join me next time for the next part of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, when we'll be going through chapter number... I think it's chapter 6. So we're beginning, but next time we are beginning the next main chapter of the game, which is primarily, if I remember correctly, going to be focused around Rion. So join me next time when we go through the next main chapter of the game. See you next time.